Hey folks, Andy here from Andy McSweeney Photography and Photo Tour Bruges. Happy February 2019, as applies if you're seeing this in February 2019. For 2019, I decided to do a monthly video log and just sort of sit here, talk about what I've been up to for the month, either as Photo Tour Bruges or Andy McSweeney Photography. And I guess just to get into it and sort of roll along, well, I got a new background for these videos. I hope you enjoyed. It's another corner of the Andy Cave, and I think it's just a little more pleasing to the eye with its simplicity, so I hope you enjoy that. I borrowed the Fujifilm GFX 50S from Fujifilm Belgium once more, yet again. For the third time, they, in their infinite wisdom, were crazy enough to lend it to me. They enjoy my work, thankfully, as Photo Tour Bruges, either as a photographer or on tour. And, of course, I try and support them wherever I can. So, every now and then when it's really quiet, and after years and years of getting to know each other, this has been mine for most of January. It was originally for 2 weeks, and then another week opened up, and then they said you can have that last weekend, bring it in on Monday. It's now Sunday night at the beginning of February, so this is the last night I've got the GFX. And I thought a good time to sit down and get this video log up and going while I have the actual prop of the camera in my hands itself. And you know, using the camera as a camera and also a prop has been in my head, like we're going to talk about in a bit. Speaking of props, of hopefully the useful variety, let's put that one down before we scratch it on the last day. Pick up our notes, pick up our glass of fine wine. God, I love living in Europe. Here's to you, my friends. When we talk about what I've been up to with the old GFX, I'll even superimpose some photos if this all goes right in post-production. All right, gang. Well, with the GFX, it started pretty trial by fire as far as actually jumping in and getting used. I picked it up on Friday from Belgium. Excuse me. Wow, good wine. I picked it up from Brussels on a Friday, and by Saturday, I was hitting the Costumes de Bruges. That is the yearly free event that happens every second weekend in January over here in Bruges, Belgium. It's all these Venetian masks just wandering the streets of Bruges with a mind towards like just bringing us smiles and love and lots of photos. That's part of why I asked for the GFX, because I wanted to run it around Costumes de Bruges for this 4th edition. I actually happen to be sponsoring some of it this year, so also proud of that, and got me a little extra access. In fact, I have extra props with my card and my Stewart jacket, which we'll see more later in future videos. Not this thing. This is all just casual. Anyways, yeah, that was good fun. I mean, if you haven't seen it before or you don't see these photos overlaid for some crazy reason, it's a really beautiful event. I mean, there's 100+ costumiers this year. I had full access as far as shooting away, except for very, very few sensible restrictions. I mean, mainly they just don't like their faces being shown under the mask if they're backstage. So that was really easy to do, and I played around from there. I also filmed a bit of video, not just sitting here talking about costumes, but actually within the costumes. Thanks to Dimmy of Hair Tricks, by the way, not only for the nice cut, but lending me your GoPro with the gimbal so I could get some footage there. And also thanks to Ian Van Landoit, because he's a dude, for showing up on the Sunday and filming me doing a video tutorial about handling event photography like the Costumes de Bruges. So that'll be coming out in the next little while. I've been trying to kick it up on video as that all evolves and I get more comfortable with this. And I thought it was time just to go in on the deep end a little bit and, well, basically film a tutorial in the midst of 100 costumes in a beautiful city with about, what, 10,000? No, 5,000 people around us. Yeah, so that's coming up and that should be fun. And I hope you like the photos that I'm going to pop into post-production. All right, what else did we get up to with the GFX? Well, landscapes, lots and lots of landscapes. then some more landscapes, and then a couple more landscapes. So that got done, and I hope you enjoy the photos. For some interesting landscapes that I hadn't seen in a while, I actually went up the belfry on the market tower. So that happened. I took all the GFX gear. I took this body, this 23mm lens, the 250mm lens with the 1.4 teleconverter. Can you tell I've been working video for my speech? And I took the 120mm short telephoto / macro lens. So that was fun. And even though I actually didn't get that many photos of like the wide panoramic type from the belfry, it's a great spot, but it can be a little limiting for photos because of the wire. Yeah, it got done, and I got to test out the GFX going up 366 steps in the center of Bruges. Fun. Photos. All good. Next, we went from the heart of Bruges up on the tower to seeing the new mayor of Bruges, Dirk Defauw. He kindly agreed to do a little portrait session for us so that we could catch a few snaps with the GFX. They squeezed us in the schedule, and again, guys, this is years of building relationships, so, don't go bugging him for snapshots too much in the office. But Dirk was extremely kind and supportive of my work here as Photo Tour Bruges and otherwise by giving us a little half hour in the office so we could snap away with the GFX and actually film a tutorial on that too. Again, diving in the deep end and just getting into video and trying to help you guys a little more beyond Bruges with your photography. I actually don't know if that one will come out, guys. Maybe I'll put it out just as footage you can watch sometime or something. But the only problem there was the sound was a little rough. And no disrespect to my beautiful wife, but she's not a videographer and was the only person free for the day. So I'm going to take a good look at the footage and the sound especially. That's not her fault. That's just the equipment that we have on hand in these early days. But yeah, got the mayor a few times over. Got the 3-lens test out and even got a couple of backstage pics. So that worked well. And thank you. Well, zoveel, Burgemeester Defauw, which means thank you so much, Mayor Defauw. Extremely appreciated. And starts a nice tradition because that's the second mayor of Bruges since I've started up here as Photo Tour Bruges that's gifted me with a kind portrait. So that happened, and we're only a couple items in. I guess we should fire through. I should say, guys, as part of getting these video tutorials up and actually getting some lens reviews out, as well as sample images left, right, and center for the GFX lenses, since I have them here, and this video stuff all tends to work out for everybody, I spent more than a little bit of time at Exceller Bikes, just behind the Berg Square. I'm going to pop the address right down there in the underside of things because I want you guys to know it. He was very kind to me there, the owner Chris and Henriette, by letting me park up, not just with the GFX and the 120mm macro especially, but just letting us film our video and even asking them to turn off the music for 2 minutes, which they did without blinking and a smile, and that's just so appreciated. Not to mention I got a few more photos of that nice little corner. And I will remind you guys, and none of this is sponsored, Exceller Bikes, you can wander in. It's a nice cafe as well as bike shop, and you can just ask to take photos of these beautiful, beautiful bikes that Chris has. And he'll say yes. He's really nice like that. They're all really nice like that. So drop on by if you have the chance and you're in Bruges and picking up photo tips of Bruges here while you're watching this video. Or just join me as Photo Tour Bruges. Never mind that. I hit the wall doing that, guys, literally. Gang, moving through. I rediscovered the Behainhof, the nunnery, the Beguinage, as some of you know it. It's in the main Lake of Love, touristy, historical corner of Bruges. And being the quiet of January, it's actually very quiet in there. For those of you not traveling here in January, by the way, it is a very quiet space if you pick your moments right. Join me as Photo Tour Bruges, I'll walk you through it. But There's a subtle plug. But gang, with the knowledge I have from doing my tours for years, I took some time in the nunnery, the Behaenhof especially. And frankly, I'm just so delighted I did. You know, it's such a beautiful space and a beautiful corner. Even though they list no photos, they're very, very tolerant, as long as you're not walking on the grass or disrespecting the nuns by, you know, catching stuff and being rude with it. Don't jump up to them with a wide angle, but otherwise you should be okay. I can also just thank them should anybody from the Behaenhof be watching this for some crazy reason, because when I do my portrait sessions, they're actually really good with all the photographers, respectfully and carefully walking on the grass so we can get the shot. Don't abuse it, but thank them if they come out and don't scream and yell at you and give you a €200 fine. So there's that. But yeah, that advice aside that got slid in the whole freestyle nature of these chats, I took some time there and it was absolutely wonderful and I really, really enjoyed it. So that was good. You know, that's again sort of falling into the landscapes that I've been running through next to, you know, this variety of work, and really a pleasure. Really a pleasure. And the GFX, you know, I should talk up the gear, I guess. The GFX delivered. I'm going to do a tutorial overall about stuff with the GFX, and I'm going to get you guys a good look at those images. And obviously, you should have some nice images scrolling through here from the post-production magic of it all. Hey! Why don't we talk about what's next so I can show some variety? Oh! And I saw the next thing on my list. It snowed. It snowed in Bruges, which is one of my very favorite things. It snowed twice. It snowed and it looked okay. And there's a couple of photos. Let's take a second enjoying that. That was a respectable snowfall. I couldn't complain about that. It looked like winter. The canals looked really beautiful with their frosting over and those splotches that you can see that we're still arguing might have been about snowballs being thrown in and might have just been some weird natural thing. But guys, you know, it snowed twice and that was just the first one. The second snowfall, I mean, I don't even need the wine. I'm drunk just thinking about the snow. The second snowfall, nobody expected. The wife just woke me with like, it snowed again! And it was even more beautiful. And I just am so, so pleased out of what came from it. And it lasted a couple days in a respectable way. So I got some time where, you know, as these are scrolling through, it's time to show some of those late afternoon shots where the sun popped out and I got that really crisp winter feeling that I really love to get around here. You know, guys, I grew up in the snow in Montreal back in Canada. I partly live in Europe, not just for the wine and the beautiful woman, but for the lack of severe snow. But when it does snow like this, and it doesn't stick around hardcore for 4 months like it does in Montreal, or at least when I was growing up, it's just awesome. And, you know, again, if you're trying to filter out a few photo tips about Bruges here, if you hear anything about snow possibly happening here, especially in January, February, where it's really quiet, book a hotel room, take a few days, and whether you join me as Photo Tour Bruges or not, get on it. So beautiful, so beautiful, so beautiful. And I had good company. The wife and child. All right, let's pick up the list and not dwell on the snow too long. I can throw the landscape word in there again. Landscape, landscape, landscape. Snow, 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 landscape. But I'm going to move on. We got more portraits of the costumes. With, again, just like I don't even need the wine here, guys. I'm drunk on the time I had with the GFX and, you know, the beauty of Bruges and the blessed life that I feel I'm leading here, you know, and I don't say that just because it's cool. It's I'm feeling blessed. Look at these photos. I got a private portrait session with one of the costumiers. I can't say the name because that's part of the magic with the costumes, but that lovely young lady is magic, and I thank her so much for it. Look at these photos, with the snow no less. How can I even sum that up with words? Here's to the beauty of life. Thank you, universe. Thank you. Thank you. What else? We got John. We got John over at the waffle van over on the Berg Square. He makes awesome waffles, and we got that. And he's an awesome guy. He's one of my clients. While I have the GFX, I've been circling to a couple people who are clients as possible. John was one of them, so we could really nail down a portrait or two or three. So we got those. Hey, very, very pleased with that. And I'll make sure to post this properly in post. That last shot is actually just from the XT2 because I want to make sure to get it again. Yeah, good times. I think I'm still drunk on the snow and the portraits and getting the mare and these landscapes and going up the belfry and all this beautiful stuff. I didn't even mention when I was in the Behainhof in the nunnery, I saw the first daffodil of 2019. I can't say spring because we're January, but that daffodil came, I got it. I was very, very pleased, and then it snowed, and I got it again, and I think it's an even better photo. Happy good stuff. Happy good stuff. Happy good stuff. What else? I worked on my reflections series. A lot of you know I'm working on a book of reflections from the canals. Those happened. Very, very pleased with those, especially since I had the GFX. I got to say here, and this is where the gear comes into it, that, boys and girls, let's not forget, bring out the prop for the last time, is a medium format sensor. Checking my display to see you can see that, hopefully, and I think you know what it is anyways. That big ass sensor is going to get me a big ass image to work with as needed, and with the reflection shots, well, that's for a future video, but they do take a little bit of moving and jigging and all sorts of stuff in post-production. Not swapping out elements, but I'm glad I have that super crisp, sharp image that the GFX delivers. So there's that. Yeah, I think that's what I got. I mentioned how some video happened. This video's happening, so I mean you can see more videos happening with me. For better or for worse, I've joined the internet a little more deeply. All kinds of results, all kinds of goodness, all kinds of work to add to my work as Photo Tour Bruges. With those photos I show you both on my photo tour as we wander around those locations, as well as these videos, as well as my tutorials, as well as my book being in Bruges, to throw a plug in there, as well as future books, as well as future projects, as well as everything that I enjoy doing for you guys and myself with this, and figuring all this out is, I guess, a part of it, including talking out loose and not worrying too much about a script, hey? So, having said all that, and hopefully not blown the sound levels on this wee little microphone, I'm going to leave it there. I want to thank a few people before I get out the door. Fujifilm Belgium, obviously you guys are awesome. Dirk, Andre, thank you so much for sorting this out and even giving me a little extra more time. It really is appreciated, and I hope what you see coming up with the videos and all the other support that I try and give you guys where I can does let me borrow this again, because it's fun, and I wouldn't mind trying the R and all the other stuff. But hey, you know about my wish list, and that's only on the medium format side, never mind the XT2 and X gear that I use regularly. Blah, 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 gear. Thank you for that, guys. Just one more on that. That hits me right in the heart, just like a beautiful day of snow in Bruges, if not even a little bit more, because damn, it's nice to work with this stuff. I also want to thank Ian Van Lenduyt for being my video buddy and my bag buddy, carrying around the backstage bag of video while we were running around. I also want to thank my wife for doing stand-in video. You know, she's not a videographer, but she gave it a good go, and the results did not suck. We can use at least 9/10 of it. And more importantly, and definitely don't need my paperwork to remind myself of this, she keeps me alive, and she keeps me happy, and she keeps me fed, and she picked out the dog, and she just does all kinds of stuff, including catching lenses. 8,000 euros worth of camera, no stress, no hassle in her hands, and Jesus, for whatever I'm worth, I seem to be good in her hands. So thank you, all of you. Wife a little extra, and yeah, I guess that's a video blog done for January of 2019 into February of 2019. That means I'm going to leave it here. That means I get to say, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, all that kind of good stuff. And I will say I am Andy McSweeney of Andy McSweeney Photography and Photo Tour Bruges. If you are in the beautiful city of Bruges, hey, come join us for a photo tour. Maybe if we get along, we'll go for a glass of wine afterwards, or maybe a beer. Apparently they're pretty good at it here. That's for another video. But yeah. There's that, phototourbruges.com, and check out the description, not only for the link, but a 15% discount if you apply that to an open tour, or mention that when you book a private tour, mentioning this video. I'm out of here. I suggest you do the same. My friends, after you finish your wine, get out there and get shooting. See ya. Thank you again, Fuji. Might take it out in the morning. Shh. Wine first.